We're joined now by Imdadullah, Mohammed, and Shiv Sahni, who just finished their talk, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, where they presented stuff about web views and CVE 2021-21136. Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
How's things going, man?
Things are loud and clear. Yeah.
Excellent. So, what's new with web views, man? I mean, you guys have been working on this, I guess, for quite a while, right? As in your day-to-day. Guys.
Yeah, actually, yes. So, we are working a lot on mobile side. So, and this is one of the components that is extensively used in the current era of mobile development. So you get a lot of cool findings out there, and especially if it's about web views.
So, I'm checking the Discord. We don't seem to have any questions from participants. However, I had a question for you guys about the security team at Grab. I mean, I know that Shiv now doesn't work for Grab. I mean, now you work for JP Morgan Chase, great. But you guys used to work for Grab, right? Like, so maybe you guys can just tell us a little bit about securing such a large app, right? Such a large infrastructure. The complexity of the Grab app has only grown, right? As in now you got you can book rides, you can order food, you can send packages, right? And then they've got an e-wallet as well. There's kind of a much bigger problem than just privacy issues and data security issues and stuff. Maybe you guys can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Sure. So basically, I would say the engineering team at Grab was really very great. So you get a chance to work with a lot of great engineers where they itself consider security one of the requirements. So we were never so the engineers were they're self-responsible for security, and security was not only security team's responsibility. So we used to have secure SDLC, wherein everyone in the pipeline is responsible for security, and which as a part of security team was very helpful for us. So we were not there to tell them, see, this is something that you need to take care of. So they were smart enough to do things by themselves. And that is when you get a chance to work on a lot of other initiatives, which actually helps you improve and work on a lot of different initiatives, I would say, which would be embedded in the SDLC itself and would result in a lot of cool things.
How big is the security team now? I mean, at Grab.
Imdad would be the right person to answer, I guess.
Yeah, I think we have a very big team, so it could be more than 100 people in the security team, which are distributed across across Southeast Asia and India.
So, I mean, for collaborativeness, right? Like now that everybody is kind of working from home, now the security teams are kind of spread out all over the world. How do you guys do coordinated bug squashing? How do you guys fix all the bugs?
Yeah, actually, we have so it's a type of collaborative team, and we have our own teams. We have our application security team, we have our own compliance team. We have team that focuses on automation. So each of the teams take their own responsibility and works in a collaborative manner. So work from home, it depends on the local restrictions and all. We come to office one day in a week, or if there's more restriction, we work remotely.
Huh. And so when it comes
overall, I would say.
Say again?
Sorry. So overall, I would say the collaboration was never a problem when we were back there in office, and it was never a problem even when we were working remotely. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty the same thing. There wasn't difference working, in the office or if you're working from home.
So in terms of when it comes to software testing and the security testing side of things, right? I don't know, does Grab actually have a bug bounty program?
Yeah, yes, a very good one on HackerOne.
Yeah, really? It's the first time I'm learning about it, man. Yeah. Why have I not heard about this, man? I tell you why, right? Because way back in the day when Grab first started, right, there was a whole bunch of bugs in the app, man. Ridiculous amount of bugs, man. When I'm talking about My Taxi, right, early days before it became Grab, right, the app, right, when it was My Taxi. And so, I was always wondering way back then, as in why didn't you guys have a bug bounty? Now you say you do, but how come I don't know about it? Why is it that like it's not widely publicized?
I believe it's more than 5 years that we have our bug bounty program, if I'm not wrong. It could be 6 years plus. And it was one of the top 10 programs. Like it's one of the HackerOne's top 10 programs.
It's run by HackerOne. Okay.
So overall, HackerOne's Grab's bug bounty program is quite good, I would say.
Right. Why didn't you guys run your own?
Yeah.
I mean, like, why depend on HackerOne? Grab is so big, man. Like Uber doesn't depend on HackerOne or anybody else. You know what I mean? It's like they have their own thing, right? Why didn't you guys do that? Can't say.
I know about this, but I believe
because if you look at the HackerOne platform, it really becomes very easy to communicate with the researchers. So the first set of work is taken by the triathletes at HackerOne, and whenever there's something which requires an active involvement, therein where we come in the picture.
Any cool findings? I mean, from the 6-year program that has been running, has there been any like major vulnerabilities that have been disclosed? I mean, obviously I don't know about it, but maybe you guys can shed some light on that. Has there been any findings from the researchers? Significant findings?
So I believe we are having a policy of not disclosing their code. So maybe that was the reason why you would haven't heard of the bug bounty program at Grab. But as I mentioned, like it's one of the top 10 programs on HackerOne. But yeah, so we have a policy of not sharing the reports publicly. So that is why I think we might not be able to share that info. What do you say?
Yeah,
especially like I'm an
we are not allowed, but we can definitely speak on the publicly disclosed vulnerability. I think so.
So in terms of like coordinated findings, right? Like if I found a vulnerability in Grab app, I have to go through HackerOne, or is there any other mechanism that you guys use, or HackerOne is we would suggest and request researchers to go via HackerOne, but definitely like if they are, because of some reasons HackerOne is not accessible, they could even reach out to the teams directly. But we don't. If I recall correctly, like we used to suggest them to come via HackerOne only because it actually helps and easen up the process a lot. Are you guys doing anything with like, I mean, I'm guessing with AI side of things, right? But like, anything at scale for security? As in, are you guys using any kind of like generative adversarial stuff or anything along those lines?
Yeah, actually, if you look at the security team, we are maturing in the term of how we are doing automation at scale. So, so we Grab, it's a very it's actually a super app. It has a lot of teams and lot of engineering teams, lot of features. So it's difficult to scale, security at such a huge team. So we are actually in that process where we are automating the security things and scale so that each and every component that is under Grab is scaled in terms of security.
What about like behavior analysis for users, anomaly detection, like at scale, right? Like, are you guys doing any of those kind of things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the implementation? As in, is it running in Amazon? I mean, like, how do you guys do it? Is my question. You know what I mean? Like, without giving away the secret sauce, right?
We actually don't know much detailed about it, but there's a automation team which actually takes care of all the things.
So I would say like we have a lot of products which are there, but which are in-house and in-house developed. But like those are sets of confidential projects that we cannot discuss about. But yeah, like there are a lot of initiatives that we were working on. And as Imdad mentioned, like in Grab, security team was knowing this fact that security can never scale as that of engineering. And the only way to come up with security is and ensure security is automation. So this was something which was known very long ago, I would say, and there were a lot of cool automation projects that we were working on. And when it comes to threat intel part of it, again, there were a lot of interesting projects that we can definitely not talk about. But yeah, like, there were a lot of cool things that were there.
I was going to ask you about the blockchain thing because I heard that there was some discussion about building in a blockchain into the Grab wallet, as in like for storing the values or something. Is that something you guys are still working on, or you guys have abandoned that and you left to JP Morgan Chase because that's where the blockchain's at? Are you guys doing anything with blockchain, or it's not like, or it's confidential, we can't say?
Like when I was working with Grab, I didn't encounter anything. So again, like actually, like So as Imdad mentioned, right, like we have a lot of folks in the engineering team, and there would be a set of engineering teams working on a particular thing. So you might not be aware of all the things that are there in the pipeline. So that might be the one thing that. So personally, myself, like I didn't hear of anything about blockchain back then.
Interesting. So in terms of your SDLC, right, as in from the time a new feature gets, say, developed and the time that it's actually implemented, so that I open my Grab app and then it works, right? Like, how many months are we talking about? 6 months, 8 months? Less.
No. Again, it's very agile.
It can take up to 6 months, or it can take a couple of weeks as well. So things are really quite fast in Grab. So we work in a very fast manner. Like so let's take an example. Tomorrow there's some policy change in a specific locality, and we need to roll out a feature. So this feature needs to be done in couple of weeks, and security testing, everything will be, every team will work in a collaborative manner and would actually fulfill that specific requirement. So we don't have any, perfect timeline that we take 6 months or 4 months.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't really have any other questions for you guys. Is there anything you want to talk about? I mean, is there anything like, you guys are working on in your own personal projects? Like, it doesn't have to do with Grab or anything to do with work. Like, is there any kind of like cool research projects you guys are digging into, or any aspects you want to talk about?
Or is there a follow-up research on your research into web browsers, which you just found?
Pardon me?
Or do you have like a follow-up into the research of the WebView vulnerability that you just found?
Yes. Actually, we are planning to now that we have touched WebView, we will plan to touch different components within mobile as well, and we'll probably try to so now this was our first time reporting a bug to Google. This ended up in low severity issue. We'll look for other issues which has a huge impact, or probably will come up with a critical or a high one in the future.
When you were working with Google, right, like how was, in your opinion, I mean, how was the process? Was it easy, not so easy, painful?
So we really love the way that we work with Google. If you look at the bug bounty process, in HackerOne or bug bounty program, most of the time you would get a single line answer that your bug has been tried, we have fixed. But in case of Google, there was, if you actually look at the disclosure, there's a very long conversation which is going on with them, as well as we are also, replying them with different sets of, scenarios, with different sets of initiative. The experience was very good with them, which helped us to know, what are the different factors, or what are the different policies that they are actually following, or what are the new things. Like, for example, they said they wanted to collect metrics on what happened to the sensitive header, and then they said that they want to have a test case to actually check if this if this fix would work or not. So that's where the learning comes in. So there was a lot of learning with the interaction that we had with Google.
Cool. So I mean, overall, you would say it's relatively positive, right?
Yeah, it was.
Good to know. I'll let you guys go, man, because I don't have any other questions for you, and there are no questions on the Discord either. Thanks again for joining us in the studio, and obviously for delivering your talk at Hack in the Box.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
giving us the platform.
for accepting our proposal. First of all, I think this was our first security conference. So thanks for giving us this opportunity, and it actually boosted up anyone's confidence that you can go ahead and do something better the next time. So thanks for that.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Thanks for submitting, because we can't accept something that's not submitted. So you have to start first, right? You guys have to submit your talk. But so yeah, thanks for taking the time to submit it as well. And we're glad that we gave you guys the opportunity, and you found it useful.
Yeah. So we
Thank you so much.
look forward to meet you in Singapore. I think in 2019 we actually saw you. I actually met you in Singapore. Live conference.
You probably did, bro, but you see the amount of grey hair, right? I cannot remember, bro.
I know. You were everywhere in the conference. You would be there in this room, in that room, in the hall. So you would be there everywhere. So we'll definitely look forward to have a physical interaction.
Look forward to it, man. Look forward to it.
Everything
Thanks.
opens up.
Thanks again for joining us. You guys stay safe. Take care. Keep in touch.
Yeah.
You too.
Take care. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Take care.
See you guys.
Bye.